Welcome, Atlanta United family, to another episode of Resurge The Spike ATL. Here with Tommy and a special guest that we have here from Austin, Hernan, here from WAATV. Man, we're glad to have you here. A new team. A lot of expectations from this team so far this season, but we, as usual, we've kind of been having a little giveaway, and I'm pretty sure somebody's already on here that we're giving out some tickets for this game against Austin. And apparently, Kirby ate Vash. He answered it correctly. The question was, when was Atlanta United basically announced as a franchise in MLS, and he answered it correctly, or her, I don't know,
Nice.
2014, and the official attendance for a 2018 MLS Cup, 73,019 people were there in attendance. Tommy, you
I
were
was
there,
two of
right?
those. I was two of those. I was two of those people.
Yeah. All right, man. But give Hernan and Tommy a follow. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the people that we have on here, the usual guys that are going to be here commenting as usual. So Kirby, send me either on Twitter or Facebook, or wherever you saw this. Send me your info, send me your email, and the I'll send you the tickets. So we got Sylph here. So Tommy, your best friend. So guys, I mean, we haven't really talked about the last game that Atlanta United had. Oh, I don't, I don't really want to get too much into detail, because I mean, it is another one of those games on the road for Atlanta United that you feel like you could have gotten more out of, but at the end, against the reigning MLS champions, you're gonna take a point away from home, especially how we haven't really been consistent away from home. Opposing from Austin, they've been really good away from home.
Hey man, but it actually wasn't always like that, man, because last season was so rough for us. We ended up second bottom last in the Western Conference, just above Houston, which is always nice, you know what I mean? In-state rivalry. But this season it's completely a 180 turnaround. We've brought in players, we let go of some bad players, but overall, man, this team is bought in with this coach, with this system, and we've been great away from home, like you're saying, man. And honestly, knowing ATL, knowing this franchise and how much success that this team has had throughout the past couple of years, it's honestly no better time than right now than to play ATL. I mean, you guys aren't in the best position that you would want to be. You know what I'm saying? You got some big injuries in this team, and we're honestly rocking and rolling right now. And we've been fantastic against Eastern Conference teams. So, like I said, man, it's no better time than right now to play ATL. Sadly for you guys, but just great for us.
Well, I guess I'll have to. I mean, I guess I'll still watch the game then, even though you're calling a win here, probably. uh,
Little bit.
yeah, it should be interesting when we play this week because there's two new guys coming to the squad at least, right? So it should be interesting. Well, Ariel, you froze, and at least on my screen, you froze, and
Yeah, he is. He
he,
is frozen. He is frozen.
he looks like a psycho right now. So we'll go with that. But yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens here because we have a new center back coming in, a new goaltender. I don't think. I think Rocco's Rios is still going to start because they like what he can do with the ball, and honestly, he's earned it. So I think that he's going to have to lose that spot. But I do expect the center back to at least start. And I forget our new guys' names. Ariel, you probably know if you're back.
I mean, I'm able to hear you guys. Apparently, I'm frozen. My screen is frozen.
Yeah, your internet sucks right now. You're on dial-up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super buffer,
apparently,
super
man.
buffer.
Gadino and Parada. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It should be interesting to see what they do here. We just found out that Everson Hyman is injured. We get one injury per week, so it was a surprise. But he didn't start last week, and our midfield's been struggling a little bit. Sadic is not the guy that you want to start in a game, so I worry anytime that he's on the field. So it should be interesting. But we did see in the New York, I'll just call them the Yankees because that's what they are. Playing the Yankees was the first time we got all 4 of our offensive guys on the field: Moreno, Almeida, Joseph, and Aruju, and it worked out well. Like, they had some brain farts here and there, but just with any guys playing together all together for the first time, it was a bright side. The most goals I think we've ever scored at Yankee Stadium in a single game. I don't think we've scored more than 1 there ever. So, I mean, that's obviously a bright side to see. You go home with the crowd behind you. I think that they've obviously got a chance, but it's offensively, I don't think we've been shut out in over a month, which is good because we were shut out for about a month. But it'll be interesting to see if they could stop it, because our last win was a shutout. Like, that was the last time we were able to win. We shut someone out, and that was Miami, I believe.
Inter Miami, correct? Inter Miami.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, they can't make these mistakes, and it's individual mistakes across the board. Campbell and Dwyer and Franco have all 3 of our center backs have just been a disaster. They all have one game where they make that individual mistake and things go bad. And specifically Franco, the last game, he set up one of our goals. He made a terrible mistake on one of the plays, and it cost a goal. So, it's really a crapshoot. It really all depends on the defensive side here and what your offense can do.
Very interesting. One thing that I do want to point out is Tati Castellanos got 2 goals on ATL the last game, 2-2. Obviously, everybody knows that. But we have a player that's kind of similar to Tati Castellanos in 2 ways. Number 1, they're from the same country, Argentina. And number 2, they're tied right now in the MLS for the top scorers, which is Sebastian Driussi, Tati. You know what I'm saying? So my question for you guys, ATL fans, is what do you guys think the coach is going to do to try to stop this attack in Austin FC? Because we have, if we don't have the most goals in the MLS, we're tied for the most, right? We have the leading top scorer in the MLS, well, tied, I guess. And also we have a guy, Diego Fagundes, who was pretty much a New England Revolution reject. He was kind of booted from that team by Bruce Arena. Then the year after, they came back and had the most points in MLS history, if I'm not mistaken, right? But Diego Fagundes in Austin FC, he's not winning that much money. Some people say he's underpaid, but he has at least like 9 or 10 assists, if I'm not mistaken. The guy's up there. So I'm really, really trying to get my head around what ATL, after what I'm hearing from you guys, is going to be able to do to stop Austin FC's attack. But I want to hear from you guys.
Man, in my opinion, I feel like it's gonna have to come down to whether we go to 3 in the back. We feel like, I personally feel like, we're able to keep or stay away from that pressure. I think it was against the New York Red Bulls when we played like that, and I mean, I felt like we played well out the back, to where we didn't really struggle like how we did usually against teams that would really press up high. But I mean,
Parada.
That's just our opinion, whether, or I don't know if you share the same opinion, Tommy, about the 3 in the back. So
I think it's Parada. I mean, you have to. Something's got to happen. Someone's got to take control of that back line, and we haven't seen a leader come out. Miles Robinson was our leader, right? Like he was becoming our leader, and with him gone, it's lost. Nobody's really taken that role.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just
we were just reading, but Kirby is like definitely
great comment. Go ahead, Tommy.
But yeah, I mean, you haven't had a guy really come and take that over. Like, I think that you at times you had Dijon come in, and like he tried to do that, and he did for a couple games. He was decent, but then he went back and made some just terrible mistakes on the play. Campbell is still extremely young, really hasn't been able to take over that role. And Franco, Zilf brings up a comment that he was very good after that bad play. I don't disagree, but it's those, 15 to 20 seconds that Franco makes a mistake, or maybe 2 in a game. Let's not forget the Colorado game at the beginning of the year where I think all the goals were on him, right? Like, he makes silly mistakes. And just, you if you're going to be the leader back there on it, you can't consistently have these brain farts out there. So, you hope that Prada comes in here and becomes a leader there, and we have an option to keep him next season as well. And you need something, and you're not going to get Miles Robinson back at the beginning of next year. It's extremely unlikely that he will be ready for camp next year. You'd expect him probably to come back in May-ish, April, May. So you're going to need a leader going forward, and I think this is just a tryout for Parada. And if that could work out for them, all the better. But we got to try something different. If we come back with that same back line as we did last game, I'm going to be disappointed.
Now, one thing that I do want to put in here is I don't want to be like the Austin FC fan that's going to try to paint, that perfect picture, because we do have some struggles coming into this game. Number one is our center back situation right now is looking very, very tough. We might have to put Alex Ring, an ex-New York City FC player, which is like a CM type of player. We might have to put him at center back if our CBs are not ready to go, because we have Julio Cascante, which is our number one CB. He's off of a hamstring injury. He's played every single minute until he got hurt. Other than that, we have Kip Keller, which was the projected number one from this past Super Draft, but he went number 5 to Austin FC. He's off of a red card. He got a red card last game. Also, Johan Romaña, which is our young Colombian center back. He's been with us since last season, so he's not the best center back, but he knows the system and he knows how to play it. He had to be subbed off last game because of concussion protocol. So if we can't field a natural center back along with Ruben Gabrielson, who is our only ready to go 100% center back, when we barely got him this year, he's been fantastic. If we can't field anybody next to him, we're gonna have to put Alex Ring in there, or maybe Felipe Martins. We just got him from DC United a couple months ago. So that's something that ATL, especially Joseph Martinez, who scored last game, he can probably focus on that. And I'm sure the ATL coaches are looking at that 100%. They know that we're going to be struggling back there. So, I mean, maybe Joseph, like the comment Kirby, he said, stopping Austin FC as a major underdog would be the most Atlanta unexpected thing. Hey, the MLS is wild, man. The one thing this league has taught me is anything can happen, yo. Anything can happen, especially when you're in the Benz. What do you got, like 70,000 people in there? Come on, man. Anything can happen.
There'll be those 70,000 this weekend. Honestly, I mean, yeah, the full stadium will be open, but I mean, I don't know. The attendance has somewhat dropped. I'm not gonna say drastically, but it has dropped.
Yeah.
But with
you have another person out, right, with yellow card accumulation.
Yes, well? Thank you for bringing that up. I almost skipped. I have it in my notes, and I almost skipped over that. Thank you so much, Tommy. Danny Pereira, he has been absolutely magic for us, man. We picked him up in the first season in the inaugural Super Draft for us. It's actually a pretty wild story with him, because he was projected to go number 3, and the Colorado Rapids were making moves and they were buying up to secure him so he could go to Colorado. But Austin FC shocked the entire league, and instead of going for Philip Mayaca, who was projected to go number 1 that year, they got Danny Pereira, the young Venezuelan player. He is here on asylum, so he can't even go to Canada most of the time. He can't travel outside the country. So Danny Pereira signing was interesting. But the reason why I even put that in my notes, the reason why I even bring that up, is because this kid has been magic for us, yo. The only reason why we beat Charlotte, and I want to talk about Charlotte with y'all. We got to talk about Charlotte later. But the only reason why we got the 3 points in Charlotte, we were the second team to beat them in their house, was because of a Danny Pereira wonder strike. I don't know if you guys saw that on the TL. MLS was voting for it. It was just a ping, ping, ping goal. It hit the crossbar twice. And he's not going to be there with us this game in ATL. And that's going to be a massive blow for us in the creativity, in the midfield, and just the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the audacity to break through lines. We're definitely going to be missing him. And if I'm not mistaken, in that midfield, you're going to see Sebastián Driussi, Alex Ring, most likely, if he doesn't drop to center back, and Felipe Martins, because that's what Alex Ring has that's what Josh Wolf has experimented with whenever Danny Pereira hasn't been there, because he's been having this yellow card accumulation, red card trouble. So Josh Wolf definitely might have something up his sleeve, because it's not the first time we got to be without Danny Pereira, but it's definitely going to hurt us.
We got somebody back coming back from yellow card accumulation as well. Franco Ibarra. I mean, he's also another one of those guys who he's either gonna have a huge game, or either he's gonna get a yellow card and it's gonna be in foul trouble. I mean, it's hard to really predict with him. I mean, just with the whole team entirely, honestly. But
He's going to be
mostly,
the biggest play. I mean, I think he's going to be one of our biggest players. You ask how we're going to stop
yeah,
you guys from scoring, it's going to have to come from Franco Ibarra. But like Ariel just said, when he gets an early yellow card, specifically in like the first half, he's pretty much rendered useless for the rest of the game. He has a temper. He knows he has a temper. The entire team has to worry about him and his temper from going off on the refs or another player. So he's kind of a red card, potential all the time. So he does. He does make me nervous, but if we are going to stop it, he's going to be the guy that's going to have to really step up. We also have Santiago Sosa that, I could say he's potentially available, but who knows? But he's possibly another option too. I would assume probably be a substitution late in the game, maybe for Ibarra if he does get in yellow card trouble. That would definitely need to help slow you guys down.
Yeah, man, definitely. And
So-
I mean, yeah, man, go ahead.
no, man. I mean, just getting into like the transfer rumors that we've somewhat been hearing today coming from South America that Edwin Mosquera has apparently signed for 4 years with Atlanta United. I mean, he's already gotten his medical test done and everything. It's just a matter of visa paperwork to be done, and obviously he'll be able to join the team afterward. But he's working out alone. Apparently Atlanta United, sent him like a training routine or something, I guess. To somewhat start, coping to what the team's actually doing. But I mean, that's just bringing more depth into the team. Somebody who's apparently able to play as a winger on both sides, left and right. So, I mean, you're just bringing more offense. I mean, I don't even know at this point. I mean, yeah, you brought in a new goalkeeper, you brought in a new center back, but I feel like Atlanta United is one of those teams that focus so much on like the offense part, but at times like that stability from the middle, obviously in the midfield and the center back. Obviously, you don't expect Miles Robinson to go out, with a season-ending injury, but it's tough, man, because we just always seem to be focused so much on like the flashy players, but as of now,
I disagree. I'll challenge at that. I mean, Brooks Lennon isn't a complete defensive liability. Andrew Gutman has done very well at times. Yeah, you've lost a bunch of guys due to injury. The midfield, I mean, obviously we bring in Ozzy Alonso, thinking he's going to be the kind of the mentor type guy to Sosa and Ibarra. He's out for the season. I mean, you're loaded with a ton of guys in the midfield. It's just, they're just okay. Josetu, Hyman, like, I mean, they're guys that are, decent, but like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that you could probably throw, some more money into the center back position. I mean, Campbell was not supposed to start this year. I mean, he wasn't supposed to be a regular starter. Dijon wasn't supposed to be a starter. I can't remember what our starting, Miles and Franco. And Franco. And, he started off suspended. And I think, once he came back, I mean, I don't know if Robinson just makes everybody better around him. It's the Robinson factor that's really just hurting everybody back there without having that guy. But like, we've thrown some money into the position overall, but like we've talked about, Franco was a Heinz third choice guy to come in to the position. So, I think that if, you're bringing all these offensive guys, so I think you're like, this is a 4-year plan, right? For Mosquera, right? Like, he's going to be a long-term guy here that we hope that he's the new Tito Villalba type guy to come in here. But, we got to focus on this money next, I mean, it's probably not this year, but it's probably next year, is to get more quality out of, a quality, maybe an MLS vet like an Ozzy Alonso that maybe has a little bit more legs on him. And I mean, because he was already up there to begin with, and, get someone in for there, and then get the center back pairing that you want next season. Like, I know that Pineda, talks highly of Franco, but I mean, he's definitely, he was good the second half of last season. He was kind of garbage when he came in to the team, but he got better as the season. We've been at that bad Franco pretty much the entire season. We've only seen, maybe a few minutes of it, but like maybe replace a couple of these guys out. Franco wasn't cheap. He was a DP at some point, and he was bought down. So if you can move him, I'm sure you open up enough salary to be able to get at least a quality guy to put next to Miles, when he's ready to come back.
There was a new guy that Austin FC actually announced today as right.
Correct. Yeah, man, correct. His name's Washington Corozo. The club that owned his contract is from Peru. Then the top flight in Peru is Sporting Cristal. And he was on loan at Pumas, if I'm not mistaken. Pumas Liga MX. He was in the team that got smacked by Seattle in the CONCACAF Champions League final. He actually featured in that game. So we're getting a guy with some CONCACAF Champions League experience. A lot of fans in Austin are not happy. Going back to the topic y'all were saying that ATL might be focused on the flashy things. A lot of fans in Austin, they're kind of new to the league. They're new to the sport, I guess almost you can say. They think every signing is going to be a Gareth Bale. It's going to be a Chicharito. It's going to be a Carlos Vela, a Joseph Martinez. It's not always going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This guy arrives to Austin FC. He's not a DP. He's not even used TAM money. He's not even using the GAM money. He's going to be here on a 6-month loan with the option to purchase, right? And he's just going to fill a spot that we desperately need right now. We have trouble with our wingers. We had some issues with our DP, Cecilio Dominguez. There was some domestic violence allegations with him. He got investigated by the MLS. He got cleared by the MLS, but the club looks like they don't want nothing to do with him. We might be booting him as soon as we can. And we're just going to have to explore our options. This guy, Washington, is not going to be somebody that, you're going to look for to score that winning goal in the playoffs. But he's definitely going to be somebody to help us make that push for the Shield. We're fighting with LAFC. They got 36 points. We got 34. So we're definitely fighting. We're fighting for that Shield. And, let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And going into, the last, basically going ahead until like what we were actually here for, man, the Austin and Atlanta United first ever game. I don't know, man. I'm not going to say I expect a positive result from Atlanta United. Personally, I don't, I really don't, man. I'm saying we tie. I say a 2-2, man, honestly. That's my opinion. I don't really see us, really taking advantage of, like the power up top that we have so far. Obviously, it's they haven't really played all together. Moreno, Almada, Araujo, and Joseph. So we somewhat saw some moments, where they combined well against New York FC. So I don't know. Maybe we might see that whole thing blow up against Austin. I don't know. It's just either going back to what Kirby said. Honestly, Austin's one of the. You said it as well. They're second in Supporter Shield. They're second in the Western Conference. They're one of the top teams when it comes to playing away from home. Opposed to Atlanta United, they're like 25th, I believe, or 21st in the league. When it comes to playing away from home. So, and at times we can't even really take advantage of playing at home. So, and from here we play you guys. We starting to play tougher teams, that are actually up there in the league standing. So for Atlanta United, it just gets tougher. But it's either, I don't know at this point. I personally predicted we were gonna be out the playoffs a couple weeks ago already, but I don't know. With all
comes and goes, man. Comes and goes. I was actually listening to some of y'all's past shows, because first of all, thank you for having me on here. I didn't say that earlier, but I was listening to some of y'all's past shows to try to get, a vibe of what y'all's show is. And in one of the shows, man, you actually mentioned earlier, you said that, hey, y'all, we're not going to win the MLS Cup this season. Let's just be real. And I actually respect that a lot, because whenever you're a true fan of a team, it hurts to realize whenever one season you just don't got it. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a real fan and it takes a true fan to realize that. You know what I'm saying? To just be like, you know what, this season is just not it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But ATL has had past success, because whenever we were talking about this game coming into ATL, I was not 100% confident. You know what I'm saying? I was not like, oh yeah, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna smack them up. The first thing I thought of was Joseph Martinez. I thought of ATL's past cups. I have like somewhat of fear. I was like, why am I scared of this team? And then I started doing some research. I started looking at this season, how ATL was doing. And I was like, man, you know what? Just like I said earlier, I was like, there's no better time to play ATL than right now, man. Honestly. So I think our chances are good. There was some people saying on the Austin Twitter side of things, they were saying that they'll be happy with the point coming out of ATL. And honestly, I'll be happy with a point too, man. You know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I've been saying it since all the injuries happened months ago. I mean, even though they're trying, right? Like the front office is trying to bring guys in. They don't want to tank. Obviously, there's not a number one draft pick that's going to come in if you tank in the super draft that's going to change your franchise or anything like that. But what you do have is you have a team that has been built on the young side. You have McFadden, you have Caleb Wiley, you've got Ibarra, Sosa, who are still young. They're the U22s that are actually playing. I mean, you've got, Campbell, who's also young. So I'm fine with winning, losing, getting draws if you're watching your growth from your players. And I think that's really what matters. Like we have Mikey Ambrose, who, can play left back. Okay, I could watch him play, but we know what his potential is, right? We know that he's just going to be a bench guy, for the rest of his career. I want to see the young kids play, and it's going to be rough. We were basically in the driver's seat to beat the Red Bulls. Caleb Wiley just takes some guy down in the box for absolutely zero reason, no reason at all, and it causes the comeback to happen, and we lose. Best performance we ever had at Red Bull Stadium. It happens, but again, I'd rather them have that now. I'd rather have them mess up here, learn from their mistakes, because next season you hopefully don't have all these injuries. Things get a little bit better. You have a consistent, lineup. Because I mean, every time we think that we're going to get a back-to-back lineup with the same starting, it doesn't happen. Some random thing happens. Emerson Hyman all of a sudden gets a knock in training, and now he's out 4 to 6 weeks. We find out, someone has the flu. Like just some guy.
Brooks Lennon went out as well. Yeah, before
5 minutes before 5 minutes before the game starts. We think, okay, we're getting back-to-back lineups for the second time this season. The second time, and what happened? He slips on a cone. He Mario Karted it on a banana.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. It's frustrating, but all these kids that you were hoping that were going to get time are getting time on the club, in the big club. They're playing at the Benz. They're playing at Red Bull Arena. They're playing at Yankee Stadium. They're learning how to play in these other stadiums. So all these kids who thought maybe, Caleb Wiley, I know he was a sub in the first game and ended up scoring his first goal seconds in. Like, there's no way he thought he was going to get this many minutes. So his career trajectory is like 2 years in advance, in my opinion. Like he would not be having this much time on a normal spot. So eventually, the way MLS is, you have to, kind of look at it and say, here are the limitations. Here's what you're forced to have. If this team makes the playoffs, awesome, great. That means their youth got them there, right? I mean, obviously they still have a bunch of the front guys, all of our attackers, they're very talented. Obviously Almada's still, extremely young, but they're all very talented. So, if they get them there, that means that the youth got them into the playoffs. So it should be interesting. But 100%. One of the things I want to talk about real quick is all these crazy signings in MLS over the past week and a half. I wake up every morning and there's just some random big name.
When's Messi coming?
MLS, right? I mean, there's that talk, that still has to happen. It's crazy, and it's even crazier that a lot of these guys are coming in and they're not even DPs, right? That's even the wilder part of all this. Surprisingly, this person's not a DP. So I wonder, and I don't honestly follow Austin that much, so you're gonna have to jump in and help me on this. But Atlanta has always taken their thing is we want to spend all our money on the young players, right? And we are now going to have all three U22 players slots filled again. And we've got some guys that are young that are DPs, but they don't have that much experience. I'm curious on the Atlanta side when they are finally going to bend their don't bring in, a guy that's older to be a DP, because it seems like it's happening more and more around the league. And can you win trophies? Can you win trophies with just young guys coming in? Obviously, Joseph's not a young guy anymore, but still, Almada, Aruju, they're still young, and they're not proven players. So I'm curious to see when, if ever, does Atlanta say, you know what, we need to start winning trophies. We need to start bringing in more experienced players, have experience in scoring, experience just playing in general to, get you farther.
So I don't know, man. I think that has personally it goes with the fact that obviously you're not able to bring in top players to a lot of teams because you have all these MLS rules. You're not the certain salary and everything. Obviously the salary cap, but I don't think that for Atlanta United is going to change anytime soon because of the fact that they've made money from players, not every single one of them, but I mean I feel like that's the way that United basically want to sign and
plan.
get their players. Their signing plan basically. I don't really see it changing just because teams around the league are doing it. I mean, and MLS is a crazy league, man. It's not like you can just bring any random players. You've had world stars come into the league. Pirlo, Gerard,
Lampard.
Bato's another one. I mean, he didn't really lived up to his potential, but yet again, you would really think that he would come into MLS and just Higuain is another one.
Zlatan. Let's not forget Zlatan.
I mean, he didn't want anything, but I mean, the guy was he was a show, man. Anywhere that you watched him in the league, obviously, but for me personally, I feel like it's got to be a mixture of MLS veterancy, not so much of like European veterancy. You know what I mean? Because at the end, I feel like that's what you have. It's always like that, man. I feel like even with you guys, with Austin as well, you have guys. I forget. You mentioned him earlier. Some guy that you guys picked
Drusi?
up.
Drusi.
Yeah,
has to be Drusi.
And
he's probably our biggest player, Drusi.
And I mean, the fact that you just gotta have that. The energy from the young players and the experience from playing in the league like MLS. I mean, a lot of players just come here. I mentioned him earlier, Higuain. He said that it was just he thought it was gonna be a cakewalk, coming in here. Nah, man, it's not. I mean,
well, he's 1,000 years old. Well, he's probably not 1,000, but
1,000 pounds.
I run faster than him. I run faster than him. Okay, and I'm slow as hell. Like, there's just like. Obviously, you have to find the right player, right? Like, but leagues are copycat leagues. Like, you always see how like a certain team and how they win. Especially like I do a lot with the NHL. The NHL, it's copycat league. Physical team wins. The next team they try to bump up their guys to be more physical than that team. Team gets faster. All the other teams want to get faster. Like, Women's MLS Cup this year ends up being LAFC versus Toronto. Like, what if that happens?
Or Austin versus Toronto.
Okay, but I'm saying because of the signings and what we have, like what we brought, what these teams are bringing in. Obviously, they're bringing in a ton of experience. They're getting obviously some value signings. We really won't know until next, the end of the season. We find out what all their salaries are, but like they're getting value at those positions. So it's just going to be curious to me. How that works, how it works out for those two teams, because right now they're both those teams are becoming stacked very quickly, and it's interesting because, you talked about how MLS is just growing and like how MLS anything can happen. Like, I enjoy MLS more than Premier League, and people laugh at me when I say that, but like, because I know I could watch some random game and it could be a team at the bottom of the table and they've got just as much of a chance as winning. But if you watch a Premier League game, it's very rare. You're usually going to see, unless it's Manchester United, they're going to randomly blow a game against, a team at the bottom of the table.
Brentford or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leeds,
like it's just,
Norwich.
It's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's how it works. Like, but it's exciting. And, you see the TV deal that just happened. Like, how is that going to affect these teams and their salary caps? Because eventually you're going to start seeing some of that money fly into the teams as well. So this league's only going to continue to get better.
100%, man. I think you're spot on with that. And one thing that I can relate to from down here in Austin is whenever we came into the league, a lot of people were looking around, asking themselves, why hasn't Austin taken advantage of the Mexican market that's in Texas? Because there's so many people in that area that would love for a team to get a Chicharito, to get a Guardado, or to get a up and coming rising Mexican star, right? But Austin FC has yet to sign a Mexican national team player. We have Hector Jimenez. He's Mexican American, but he's committed to the USA side, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing about that is, with Austin FC, I mean, we're not a team that revolves around one big name player. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be very interesting to see if that Bale signing works out. It's going to be very interesting because, for instance, Douglas Costa for the Galaxy hasn't really been what they thought. I mean, the guy's injured. He only has 2 assists, right? So Bale's going to be interesting to see. But the reason why I bring up Austin FC is because a lot of fans down here, they want those big name signings. They want those shiny, big superstar players that are going to bring a lot of media towards us way. But the way that we play, the way that the system is down here, the way that Josh Wolf coaches, we're just a really good team, and I feel like there's teams here in the MLS that can get by without those big name players. But there's definitely those organizations that absolutely have to have those big name players. And I think LAFC is one of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of, I mean, you hear the rumors about, Inter Miami bringing, I even saw something today about Sergio Busquets coming in. I'm like, what? I mean, the guy hasn't even said that he's going to be leaving Barcelona. And then, I mean, I don't know, man. Apparently this is last year. And, there's rumors already about him coming here to MLS. All these, Inter Miami, the teams from New York, the ones from LA as well, they're able to, bring in these superstars, because the cities as well, I feel like that's also a big factor. You're not going to have for instance, in my personal opinion, I feel like, one of the guys that in the near future we could see here is a Griezmann, a Neymar. They've always been, big fans, if you could say, of the USA culture. David Alaba from Real Madrid as well. He's big, best friends with Odell Beckham Jr. So, for these players, they're not gonna come to, and I'm gonna throw a shade to Ohio, Tommy. They're not gonna go to Cincinnati. They're not gonna go to Kansas. They're, that's also.
Did you say Canton?
Kansas. That's what I. Yeah, that's what.
Columbus.
100%, bro. They're not gonna go to Columbus. That's a shithole team. I hate Columbus Crew, bro. I hate that team, bro. But definitely, players are gonna be more interested in Miami, LA, New York. You know what I'm saying? ATL is always gonna be there, especially because that's such a big city. Austin.
I don't think so.
Austin's up and coming. Austin's up and coming. I mean, ATL got what? Y'all got what's his name? Y'all sold him to Newcastle.
Almiron.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he chose ATL for some reason. You know what I'm saying? ATL's big, I guess you could say.
A lot of these stars don't like playing on turf.
That is true, 100%. That is true. That is facts, man.
I mean,
people get red cards specifically so they don't have to play in Atlanta.
Zlatan pulled that as well.
Zlatan, really? Rooney.
Wow.
Well, no, Rooney went on vacation. Rooney, like, they just announced that Rooney was going on vacation. He just said, "Screw it, he's not playing." I mean, it's funny when that we saw that. Like, it was all in the same year too.
Wow.
That they both like were supposed to play the Benz, and neither one of them wanted to play
Yeah,
on
there
that
was
field.
actually a full venue for both for both
of them. Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
want to ask y'all something. I want to ask y'all what y'all think about Charlotte, because I was just on a Charlotte show last week before we beat them. But leading on into the season, you know, Charlotte came in season 2 talking a lot of mess, saying that they're kings of the region or whatever. And I saw that there was some ATL banter going on. But what do you guys think about Charlotte as like a team? You know what I'm saying? Are they worth calling them y'all's rival? You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I think it's
Nah.
too early.
nah.
Yeah, I think it's too. I think it's way too early for that.
Tommy, I mean, you've always mentioned this as well. I mean, not even Orlando. I mean, and I mean, no disrespect to the organization or anything, but seriously, I mean, earlier in the years, when Atlanta United came in, it's not like they really gave them, like a big challenge, honestly, when it came to like, actually on the field. It wasn't until like 2020, ever since COVID hit, it's been basically more balanced, when it comes to the results. If anything, the biggest rival that I see for Atlanta United, not just on the field, but off the field, is Nashville more than anyone, honestly.
That's a good team. Nashville's a good team, yo.
Hate their fans. Hate
Yeah,
their fans.
I do too.
Their hockey fans, their soccer fans. They're all
That's hilarious.
annoying.
Did you guys see that one clip of the Columbus lady fan? She was coming out the stadium or whatever, and she was like, "Yeah, we don't have any like pro teams here." And then she's like literally walking out of a Columbus stadium. Oh my god, man! There's just some cities in the MLS that you're like, man, how do you even have a team, yo? Straight up, and that's what some of the beef between Columbus and Austin kind of started at, because we were gonna originally, quote unquote, steal their franchise. You know what I'm saying? And the whole pre-court thing went on, and the Leslie Poole, she's a lady in the Austin City Council, but at the end of the day, Austin FC arrived and Columbus did what they needed to, and we're here.
You could have won an MLS Cup the first year.
We could have won an MLS Cup.
I mean, who knows if you make the same signings with that? But
you never know. You never know.
I live here in Ohio, so it was interesting because I followed that Austin Columbus thing closely.
Yeah,
and honestly, if it wasn't for the Cleveland Browns, you would have had that team, because they made a rule in Ohio that when the Browns left Ohio to go to Baltimore, they made a rule that says that any team that wants to leave the state of Ohio has to give like a 30 or 60-day time frame for local ownership to be able to buy the team. So the current Browns owners came in and jumped in with a couple other investors, and that's why they kept the team, because they were going to be out if it wasn't for the Haslams of the Browns that came out and bought them. So it was an interesting thing to watch, because I worked down in Columbus a lot. I travel down there at least twice a month, and the Save the Crew signs, it was legit. Like they were, the Crew fans that are there are pretty great. But they're that first stadium they had, Old Crew Stadium, man, just sucked. Worst place on earth.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it was. But bless their heart. Hopefully, whatever. Bless their heart. Columbus, keep doing you.
So, I mean, honestly, I know some people are gonna look at this comment or whatever, but obviously this is a compliment for Austin, man. But honestly, I feel like if there's any team that can make a big statement this year, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs, I feel like it's Austin, man. Like I actually said it, I don't remember to who the hell I was telling it to, but I was like, they kind of give me like 2018 Atlanta United vibes, like seriously, they're up there, like, fighting, for those top spots in the Supporter Shield, good away from home, have a good, balanced team. So if anything, man, seriously, I really see Austin like being one of those teams that, is going to be trouble for not just anybody, but, for the league itself, going forward.
Thanks,
the fact that, I don't know how many sold out games you have at home, the fan base is crazy,
It's been like 20. It's like 22 or 20.
Yeah, it's over 20. I know that, but
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
when
mean,
you have
the
Matthew
support.
McConaughey playing the drums,
Yeah.
Man,
that's-
that guy comes like once or twice a season, and he pretends that he's like one of the biggest people in this club. But hey, he's one of the investors, and it takes money to bring a team like that over here. So thank you, Matthew McConaughey, for investing your money, I guess. But he does only show up to like 1 or 2 games and just dips. He's a big Longhorns fan. He's a big Texas Longhorns
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
So there was actually a real funny moment at the beginning of the season at the traditional like spring game. He was at that for the Longhorns instead of at like a big Austin game at home. So people were like, "What the hell? Like you say you're a big Austin FC guy. You're one of the part owners. You're the minister of culture, but you're at the Texas Longhorns spring game." So it is what it is, man.
Just a last question, man. I mean, and obviously it's your second year, as a franchise for Austin, but who do you said earlier you have Houston, you have Dallas as those in-state rivals, but who do you guys see as Austin fans, like that fan base that you just can't get along with, that you just bump heads with? Like, I mean, me and Tommy agree with that it's got to be Nashville, man. I mean, Charlotte, they're just plastic, man. They're just all that Atlanta United fans.
That's a good one. That's a good one, bro. Good shit. But the ones that I would consider to be rivals, obviously you got to look at the Houstons, you got to look at the FC Dallas, but I'm not gonna lie, man. FC Dallas, man, they are one hard team to beat. We've never gotten a official dub on them. We've only gotten a draw from FC Dallas. That's the most we've gotten. They've beat us every single time we played them, except recently we tied 2-2. But I'd say, man, honestly, the Austin FC fan base crashes heads with more often with the Houston FC fan base, man. They don't like us supporting our club. We don't like them supporting their club. It's just like a big old rivalry going on. They just recently signed HH, Hector Herrera from Atleti, and we were just giving him a bunch of shit. We were like, oh, he's an old man. He's washed. He's just going to come collect that check. And Houston fans get really mad when I say like, oh, Hector Herrera, milk that team, get that bag, get that money. They get so upset. So it's just something that we just go back and forth. And most recently, I was at the Derby game when we were away at Houston at the PNC Stadium. That is such a shitty stadium. There's no shade at all. It's sun 90 minutes, bro. I got such a bad summer from that game. Terrible, bro. Never again. But we actually came back and we beat them 2-1. They scored a goal on us from half field, and then we tied it up. Danny Pereira, who we're not going to have against ATL, he scored his first goal against Houston. And then the second goal, if I'm not mistaken, it's slipping from my mind who scored that second one. But we did come back and we beat them 2-1. So to answer your question, Houston. Slap them.
Yeah, man. I feel you, man. Yeah, it's definitely got to be an in-state rivalry for you guys. Well, guys, we're
2-1 prediction time, baby. We're
2-1 for ATL. For ATL,
yeah, we're winning 2-1.
All right. So what's yours, Hernan?
2-0.
I said 2-2, man.
2-0 Austin FC.
Oh,
2-1.
2-0. 2-0. Dos a 0 Austin FC. I'm praying, but like I said earlier, I'm not gonna cap for the people in the comments or for the fans back home. If we can get out of the bends at ATL with 1 point, I'm straight. Because LAFC play LA Galaxy, and I'm hoping the Galaxy can upset it, LAFC, and we can gain more points on them for the Shield race. But if we get a point, I'm good. If we get 3 points, I'm set. Shout out to Ari Silva. He's in the comments. He said Austin 3, ATL 2. Shout out Ari Silva.
My mom always told me never to trust people with mustaches, so Atlanta's winning, baby. That's what he says. That's what I've learned. That's what I learned. Can't trust mustache. Can't do it. So we're winning, baby.
Bro, that shit was funny, bro. Oh, look at my face. I'm all red, bro. That shit was hilarious, bro. Don't trust this guy. You see this? Do not trust this guy.
No, guys, but man, thank you, man, Hernan, for being here, man. Hopefully, man, I'm expecting a good, opened up game. Honestly, I expect a lot of goals. I don't think that it's gonna be just one team sitting back. I definitely expect this to be a good game. Honestly.
That's your worry too. Is like you don't want to see teams come to the Bends and like to park the bus and just counter. I don't see that game. I don't see it being that way. I just see this going to be a real fun game. Hipster stash. Okay, I didn't go that far.
Hey, Kirby, background story, bro. Mexican, of course, right? But check this out, bro. I've had a mustache, bro. No kidding, bro. I've had a mustache since like 3rd grade, bro. I just can't grow a beard. It's not in my genes. I've had a mustache since like 3rd grade, fam. So Kirby, shout out to you, bro. But I'm not a hipster, bro. It's the hipsters with 34 points. Hey, Austin fans just got into the chat. Y'all late.
For real, man. They literally just started storming.
They just started storming. But shout out to Vanilla Mexican. That's my homie. Dale ATX. Big fan. No trophy. That's true.
Man.
No
now let's start.
It's coming.
The comment section about to start going at it now.
The comment section about to go at it. They late. Where they been?
Yeah, man.
They late.
No, but like I said earlier, man. Thank you, Hernan, for being here, and I think we can all agree on that.
I had a mustache at once. I tried it.
Damn, Tommy.
There
I
you
lost
go,
a
bro.
bet. I lost a bet for a hockey game. And I had to do the stash. So
honestly, you look like you could have been casted for like Narcos season 2, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You look like you could have been casted for Narcos.
Yeah, I was banned from. I couldn't go anywhere near schools with that mustache at all. So it was. But this is all going downhill. This is all mustache talk now.
Hey, banter at the end, baby. Banter at the end.
All right.
Well, we will have to do some trash talking. Either one of us on Saturday night. Yeah. So we'll find out.
Yeah, if y'all go to the game, make sure to say hi to the Austin Fest because there's going to be a big group traveling out there. So if y'all make it out there, if y'all know somebody that makes it out there, just tell them look out.
I'm actually making it to that game.
Hey, there you go, man. There you go. Yeah. Look out for this. Look out for LV, Los Verdes. Look, check it out. Right here. LV.
All right, man.
Look out for these scarves right here, man. You can get some really good content, get some pictures, talk to some of the fans, man. Maybe trade scarves. There's some real cool people going up to it.
Yeah,
ATL.
Man. Yeah, no, I definitely expect it, man. I mean, I don't expect, obviously people to, just go around going to soccer games to be an asshole to random people,
exactly,
you know what I mean? But
exactly, bro.
You're just going out there for the love of the game, honestly, man, at the end. So yeah, man. Follow us. Follow Tommy. Let's go Ducks 96. Follow Hernan at we're Austin TV on Twitter. He's with WAA TV. And follow us and subscribe on YouTube. And we'll be here again next week. Hopefully Wednesday or Tuesday. So yeah, guys, thank you for being here, man.
You should look out for something too at the game, and it's an L.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Tommy. Hey,
I chose violence tonight. Violence. That's what I decided to do.
Damn, bro. Show. You had to go like that.
It's your show. I get it.
Hey, you know what? I got to screw with you a little bit there. But thank you, honestly, for being on. It was a fun show.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it. And for sure, this is gonna be the first time I'd love to come back next season or whenever we play, man. For sure.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
MLS Cup, baby. Let's go. We'll see you at MLS Cup.
Playoffs for sure. Let's go.